there are expressly written policies or ordinances to ban local law enforcement from arresting people for violations of federal immigration law. This is similar to banning state tax agents from investigating people for violating the U.S. federal tax code. Because federal immigration law falls under federal jurisdiction, a number of these cities have banned local law enforcement from even inquiring about the immigration status of a person they encounter, or informing federal agents of the possible presence of illegal aliens living in their communities.
This is Francisco Sanchez confessing in a jailhouse interview to firing the gun that killed 32-year-old Kate Steinle. Walking along this popular San Francisco pier with her father, Steinle was killed last week after a bullet pierced her chest.
You could feel she was fighting, gasping for every breath.
Kate's father says no words were exchanged between Sanchez and his daughter. Authorities called it a random act of violence.
I have a little solace that I was with her, but I also have the overwhelming grief of the thought of the moment she was shot.
Why the alleged killer was even in the U.S. to fire the fatal round is now subject of a fierce debate. Sanchez is an undocumented immigrant and is a 7-time convicted felon who had been deported to his native Mexico 5 times. It would have been 6, but the San Francisco Sheriff's Department, which had been holding him on a drug charge, let him go after charges were dropped. Why? San Francisco is what's called a sanctuary city. It doesn't help federal authorities catch undocumented immigrants. About 300 municipalities have the designation around the country, but San Francisco takes a hardline approach. In the case of Sanchez, it released him even though the feds had issued a detention request or detainer to pick him up.
A detainer is not a legal instrument.
The sheriff defending the policy.
I firmly believe it makes us safer. For a law enforcement perspective, we want to build trust with that population, and our sanctuary city and other attendant laws have allowed us to do that.
To Parnell County we go. Sheriff Paul Babu, good to see you, Sheriff. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks, Maria.
What do you want to see happen here?
Well, we want to see the law enforced. Right now, we have sanctuary cities and jurisdictions, largely in California, but throughout the United States, that refuse to honor these ICE detainers. So essentially, we have criminal illegals. These are people that are not allowed to be here who've committed, in many cases, very serious, dangerous crimes against American citizens. They're arrested, they're held by local jurisdictions, local cops, and then they're not turning them over to ICE, Immigration's Custom Enforcement, so they could properly be deported. And so in Kate Steinle's case, we have a multiple convicted criminal, a felon, that then goes out, released, not turned over to ICE, and then shoots and kills her. And this is replicated far too many times throughout not just California, my state of Arizona. And there's lots of parents and families and communities that are grieving because the law is not being enforced. And so this would have consequences, real consequences to those jurisdictions that don't honor these ICE detainers, saying that we're going to withhold funding. And the Democrats have again and again tried to stop this from being implemented because they want the sanctuary policies to be upheld.
Well, people are wondering why sanctuary cities are getting different treatment, or why we're having sanctuary cities in the first place, that some cities can get different treatment than the rest of the country.
Correct. And this is the era that we're in. And President Obama has created this environment with a wave of his hand. He has said the law shall not be enforced when it comes to immigration. and this is where we have nearly 20 million illegals in this country with deferred action. Hillary Clinton goes a step further, leapfrogs over him, announcing to the world that she's going to put them all on a path to citizenship. This has to be stopped. The rule of law has to be enforced. We need to start putting Americans, our citizens, our families, and our safety first ahead of these people, even though they have legitimate concerns of safety and down in Central America and other places. But what about our veterans? What about our senior citizens? We're treating refugees and asylum seekers better than we treat our own citizens in the United States. This has to stop.
Which is why Donald Trump keeps saying America first.
Absolutely. We put America first in our interests and our national security.
Sheriff, good to see you. Thanks so much. We'll
Good
be
to
watching.
see you, Maria.
Oh, we're not gonna take it. Oh no, we ain't gonna take it. Oh, we're not gonna take it anymore. We've got the right to choose it.